Good morning, fathers of daughters. This is Ephraim B. Martin, and this is another live stream. Welcome, all fathers, regardless of your ethnic group and your background. Welcome to at Grow Dad YouTube channel. So I'm happy to have you here, fathers. This is another live stream. And what I would like to discuss today, fathers, and talk about in detail is fathers of daughters, social media engineering of our daughters, and what that looks like, and what we should expect and can expect regarding social media engineering. Fathers, our daughters, birth to 10 years of age, it's not really going to be a big problem when it comes to social media because we're going to be able to control it. But as our daughters age and they become teenage girls, 12, 13, 14 years of age, they're going to definitely be exposed to social media platforms. And we're just going to need to make sure that we're very, very involved in their lives to ensure that our daughters are not being exposed to the craziness of the world. Because if any of our daughters have cell phones, if they have, a tablet, if they have a computer, they're going to get exposed to social media platforms. So as fathers, we're going to have to be diligent, and we're going to have to be on top of exactly our daughter's social media. Now, the reason I'm calling it social media engineering is because when you think about platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, they're all geared to our daughters. They're definitely going to be making generalizations of our daughters, these social media influencers for our daughters, when it comes to makeup and dating and things of that nature when they're teenagers. Our daughters are going to be influenced by all of this. And it's definitely going to be a challenge for us as fathers. We're going to be challenged, and we're going to have to be on top of it. And we're going to need to be on the same page as their mothers. So whether we're married to their mothers or divorced from their mothers, we're going to need to be on the same page when it comes to social media and how we're going to control it. And we pretty much, as their parents, mother and father, we're going to have to control it. It's not, if we leave it in the hands of social media platforms, we're going to lose. We're in the year of 2024. And if your daughters are getting ready to become teenagers, they're Gen Alpha and they're Gen Z, the tail end of Gen Z. Gen Alpha was born from 2010, and this is the last year, 2014. So Gen Alpha is actually going to be 14 years of age, the older Gen Alpha, boys and girls. This is the last year for Gen Alpha. And then after Gen Alpha, beginning in 2025, it's going to be Gen Bravo. So we're going to be dealing with three different generations now. Millennials are pretty much the parents. Gen X, my generation, Gen Alpha. We could still have children that are Gen Alpha, but more than likely we're going to be the grandparents of Gen Alpha and Gen Bravo. So, we need to be on board to being on the tail end, well, the front end, not the tail end, the front end of technology as well. And I make sure that I stay as current as I possibly can when it comes to technology, keeping up with all the trends. and just making sure that I know what's going on, because technology is just it has totally changed the game. And our daughters, all of my daughters are adult women. I have 4 adult daughters, and they're all adult women, 35, 29, 26, and 23. So all of my daughters are adults. But what I want to focus on is I want to talk about Gen Z, and I want to speak about Gen Alpha girls, because that's what we're dealing with today when it comes to social media. I have several videos that I want to share, and I want to have input and discussion regarding social media platforms. So, fathers, we're gonna have our work cut out for us. Okay, it's going to be intense. It's going to be rewarding, but more than anything else, we have to make sure that we are communicating with our daughters, our teenage girls, on a daily basis, and just knowing what's going on in their life, making sure school's going okay, making sure that their peer groups are okay, that they're appropriate, that they're not getting caught up in a bunch of foolishness and nonsense in this world, because social media, it's here to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. So the best thing that we could do as parents is make the necessary adjustments. And as grandparents, we got to make the necessary adjustments that need to be made, because technology, every day it's changing, right? So we just have to be mindful, and we have to be aware. So I want to share several videos regarding social media and social media platforms. And I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your feedback. And fathers, let's just let's share information. That's what my YouTube channel is all about, is sharing information. It's specifically for fathers of daughters, girl dads, sharing information. It's a resource. I'm an informational provider, and I feel great about being able to share this information because of my professional experience and my background of working in the criminal justice system for 20 years and working in K-12 education for 10 years. So I have 30 years of working directly with children from all socioeconomic backgrounds and parents. And I also raise 4 adult daughters who are amazing women. So fathers, I just want to share some of these videos. And like I said, I would love to hear feedback, and feel free to definitely comment on today's live stream. Okay, fathers? All right, here we go. Let's see here. I'm going to set this up. Okay. This first video is it's talking about it's teen girls that are talking about the pressures of social media platforms and how it affects them in their daily lives as teenage girls. It's about 6 minutes long, and very, very, very good video. So here we go, fathers.
Every girl thinks that they have to be better than the other girl.
There's just a constant pressure, I guess, with everybody.
Sometimes they'll say, like, your stomach area is fat. And I'm like, wait, is it?
Teen girls offering surprising details about their struggles.
I see a lot of criticism towards me on social media.
Many adolescents having to confront the daily realities of new age pressures, from cyberbullying to modern dating. In some cases, parents left in the dark. So we brought a group of high schoolers together for an honest conversation about what it's like to be a teen girl today.
But unbeknownst to them, on the other side of this glass will sit their moms right here, listening and learning about their daughters.
Nearly 30% of teen girls suffer from anxiety, and with easy access to technology can come cyberbullying. Nearly half of American teens say they themselves have been victims.
Why didn't you say this to me when I was alive?
Teen pressure is a topic on display earlier this year with the controversial Netflix series 13 Reasons Why.
All of this cyberbullying creates an environment where our kids need to develop resilience and develop it early. And the truth is, that is not the default setting for young people.
As the girls wait,
So we're going to get you guys seated.
their moms anxious to know what their daughters will reveal when they're not in the room.
She's going to be so mad to know that I'm still here. She's going to be in shock.
How many of you would say stress is a big problem in your lives? What about social media? How big of a part of your lives is social media?
I love
Very
social
big.
media.
Any of you ever question your body because of what you see on social media?
I've been so focused on just like not eating past 7 and drinking water. Like on Instagram, like I follow people like Kendall Jenner and Kylie Jenner, and they all have this like time measure, like body image that everyone is expecting from this generation. So like I have a lot of self-confidence. Like I don't hate my body, but I always feel that there's room for improvement all the time.
There's no question that social media has a lot of positives, but the problem is we're measuring our self-worth by how many people like what we're posting. There was a time where if someone insulted us growing up, it was to our face. Now, those hurtful commentary lives online.
Do any of you ever feel criticized and hurt by things that are said on social media?
Yes.
Yes.
What kinds of things might somebody say that's mean?
They could talk about things that you post, things that you wear, things that you say.
I've seen a lot of bullying happen on Snapchat, to be exact, with some of my friends, some people calling them fat, even me, talking about body image.
The honesty about their insecurities tough for Kayla's mom, who's about to share her experience with the group.
A lot of my friends think that I'm anorexic because I'm really skinny for my age. And sometimes it can hurt, but gotta grow tough skin.
I used to get bullied in middle school and elementary school because I had a unibrow. I wasn't the skinniest girl.
What about relationships, dating, and guys?
I'm an avid 80s movie fan, and I wish that things could be the way that they were in the 80s movies.
All my instincts.
Gone are the days of John Cusack outside your window in Say Anything, replaced by texting and Snapchat, emojis in place of emotion.
What is it that they had in the 80s that you don't see so much now?
Having to actually make effort, and now I think that with things like sending a message, people say things that they don't mean, things get lost in translation.
So you want people to talk more?
Usually people just want to like FaceTime and text. You don't know what someone fully says or means.
Our young people speak in emoji and shorthand. And the fact is, relationships require nuanced, thoughtful, intimate conversations, and social media doesn't provide for that.
What celebrities do you compare yourselves to? Do you look up to?
Kardashians.
Oh my gosh, did you have to say that?
Well, Kendall Jenner specifically, like she's like all natural compared to the others. I feel like she's like so perfect to be like all natural like that, and she's so beautiful.
My biggest influence is Ariana Grande because she has such a good voice, and I find that she is someone to look up to.
If your moms were here, what would you want them to know about your world?
One thing I would like to say to my mom, like in general, is that I may not show it all the time, but I do appreciate her.
That I love her so much for the like self-confidence and being like really my best friend.
Why don't we just talk to your moms now? Because your moms are here.
Hi, Mom.
The girls stunned by our surprise.
What surprised you most about anything you heard from your daughter?
These girls are gorgeous, and they're smart, and they're on top of their game, and they're full of anxiety.
Do you worry that she's putting a lot of pressure on herself?
Sometimes I do, because I keep telling her, Lexus, you don't have to be perfect. And she tries very, very hard, with the makeup, hours of makeup. And I'm like, what happens to concealer, foundation, and powder? You walk out the door.
She's very emotional, so she lets things get to her easily, but she's definitely has grown a lot. She's definitely not the shy girl, quiet, reserved girl that she used to be.
Do you worry about that social media impact?
I do, one, because Kayla's brown. She was on the bus, and it was kind of like, why don't you go home? You Arabic, you don't belong here. Then it went on social media.
Moms getting a rare glimpse inside the minds of their teen daughters. Now, perhaps more important than ever. For Nightline, I'm Deborah Roberts in New York.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Okay, fathers. So, welcome to the world of our teen daughters. And what I really appreciate about this video is just the diversity of the young ladies that participated, and they also had their mothers there. You know, I wish they would have did a segment with their fathers just to see how their fathers would respond, because we don't really get an opportunity a lot of times to see how dads respond or how they're going to react when it comes to social media, right? So very, very good video. And like I said, you know, I can remember when my daughters were going through the teenage stage, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. It could be brutal for a lot of young ladies. You know, when I was at the time, I was the dean of students, and you know, so many of these young ladies, they just really get lost in the transition of middle school, and you know, their peer groups are changing all the time. They're not feeling good about their bodies, and that's when it's very critical for us dads. You know, we're gonna have to step up, and we're going to have to we're gonna need to be an ear, and we're gonna need to be their eyes a lot of times, because what you just heard from these young ladies, they're being honest. These social media influencers really influence our daughters, and they make a major impact into the decision making of our daughters. So we just need to make sure as fathers, we have to be mindful and be ready and be prepared for social media, because it's not going anywhere. So I really appreciated that video. Thought it was on point. And you know, the one thing I know about little girls is they're going to be honest. They're going to be totally honest, and they're going to tell you the truth about what's going on in their life and what's going on in their world, and you know, how they're making the adjustments they need to make. So we just need to make sure, fathers, that we are on the forefront with our daughters, and having that communication, that daily communication with them, so that way they're not feeling that they're making these transitions by themselves without being validated by us, their fathers. So that's just you know, what I have to say about it. And like I said, I would love to hear from other fathers regarding any of my live streams. This is my number. This is my 22nd live stream. So I would love to hear feedback on any of my live streams from all fathers. Okay, so we're gonna do this next video, and it is talking about young ladies that they called it a detox. They got rid of their social media for about 2 weeks, and very, very interesting video with these young ladies to see what happened with them when they volunteered to not be on their phones for 2 weeks and not have contact through social media. They were living their lives every day the way that they lived their lives, but they had to just make this this adjustment, not having access to social media. So very interesting. Okay, let me get it set up, fathers. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I'm getting this set up. Give me an opportunity here, fathers. Okay. Um, let's see.
Moms anxious to know what their daughters.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm sharing my screen with everyone. And okay, I want that a little bit bigger. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, fathers, here is the next video.
Now, the latest in our series, Cracking the Kid Code, a group of teenage girls tried our digital detox experiment. They gave up social media for 2 weeks. Becky Worley sat down with them to see how they did. Hey, Becky.
Good morning, George. For modern 13-year-old girls, social media dominates their interactions with peers, and screens dominate their conflicts with their parents. So asking 10 girls to log off social media for 2 weeks, that's a serious social science experiment.
Marin, California. 10 girls from different schools. 8th and 9th graders who've all volunteered for a major challenge.
Oh my God, I cannot believe this.
No social media for 2 weeks. They mostly use Instagram and Snapchat. New research suggests that screen time is associated with anxiety in teens. And child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Jody Gold says a social media break could be life-changing.
There's clearly going to be a medical impact, a sleep impact, an academic impact, and a social and emotional impact.
What do you like about Instagram?
Chatting with my friends. Sometimes I feel like really inspired.
Without any prompting, though, the conversation turns to what they don't like.
People just post things to make other people feel bad, you know, like, oh, you weren't invited to go to that.
If you're not on Instagram, you kind of get nervous, like, oh no, what if I'm missing something?
If you see something of a girl whose like body's flawless, a lot of us feel like we have to like be this perfect image.
Their parents reveal their struggles.
I do think she's on her phone a lot, and it's frankly pretty annoying.
My biggest frustration is just that things don't get done around the house, and how many times I have to say, get off your phone, get off your phone.
I worry that Serena feels she needs to show a life that's maybe not real.
One concern for both parents and teens, losing the messaging functions within these apps. They're vital for making plans and arranging rides.
I definitely have more people on Snapchat than I do have like phone numbers.
Another concern, milestones.
What am I going to do if like my friend has a birthday and I can't post about them? People are going to think like, like people are going to think you're so mad.
Okay, here is the challenge. 2 weeks, no social media whatsoever. Delete the apps right now.
Oh my gosh.
We asked the teens to record video diaries throughout the 2-week experiment.
I've been able to just put my phone down and just listen in.
I'd actually sleep a lot better without being on my technology a lot.
A lot of people were on their phones, taking videos of each other on Snapchat.
My other friends, they got to post things and it just really bummed me out.
And while they said they were more productive, their newfound free time left a hole.
And instead I just checked the weather.
After 2 weeks, they reinstalled the apps.
Whoa, it's a lot to look at.
I'm glad that I have it back, but I'm a little bit hesitant.
And we gather to talk through the results.
So how'd it go?
Good.
It was good.
It was
So it felt
amazing.
normal.
Show of hands. Who thinks they slept better? Who got into fewer arguments with their parents?
They said they felt a little out of the loop.
I missed out on so much. I didn't know Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande broke up. I didn't know.
And when they hung out with friends not part of the experiment,
They'd be sitting there and they'd be sending each other pictures, and then I was there and I was like, oh guys, like why don't we do something? And I was just kind of like, you know what, you guys were getting off our phones and we would just like listen to music and talk, and we had like so much fun actually, and I learned so much about them.
The upside of taking a break from social media is that you have so much more time to do your homework, to eat dinner with your family, and to be mindful of your experiences.
in the end, every participant was happy to be a part of our challenge, citing plans to be more vigilant about their social media use and being more present in real life.
Well, I'm definitely going to try to monitor myself because I just know it's like a really bad habit.
I definitely want to be more cautious when I'm on it. And it also showed me that I don't need social media at all. I did perfectly fine for 2 weeks without it.
I've fought so much less with my parents. I've gotten so much more done. And I also felt like it kind of like, in a good way, made me feel like I was a little kid again. I felt like it kind of made me feel like
not worrying about stuff as much.
Insightful kids there.
Ooh, screens are the parenting issue of our time, George.
Yeah, but whenever my kids have taken they are short breaks, they come back feeling more relieved, but it's hard to sustain.
It is. And I mean, social media is so immersive, but it quantifies the hardest things about being a teenager, which is popularity. It's tough for kids.
It sure is, but that was really interesting. Thanks a lot. We can tell you a lot more about this on our website.
Okay, fathers. So that was an interesting video. Once again, our daughters, I mean, this is what the world is today. This is where we're at. And we're going to have to adjust. And don't feel as though you're losing control or, those type of things. We just have to make sure we're diligent and we have to be on top of it. And we have to be aware. That's why, building sustainable relationships with our daughters is the critical piece, and making sure that we're validating and listening and having these daily discussions. Because you see, our daughters are going 100 miles an hour all day, every day. This is their connection. I'm Generation X. We weren't raised on the internet. So we didn't have a lot of the stresses and just a lot of things that are going on with our daughters today. And, like I said, my daughters didn't have to experience a lot of what, I have 2 daughters that are millennials and I have 2 daughters that are Gen Z, but they didn't have to experience the brunt of social media when they were being raised, because it was just being introduced. So it wasn't what all kids grew up on and relied upon. Okay. So very interesting video once again. And my hope is that you fathers will definitely engage, through my YouTube channel, and do your own research. And, hopefully this will help you have a clearer and better understanding of what's coming. Also, my book, Daddy's Girls. Purchase my book. And, I talk about what it looks like for us to build those long-term sustainable relationships with our daughters. 3 different stages: birth to 10, 11 to 13, and 14 to 18. I cover all that in my book, Daddy's Girls, which is available at Amazon.com. So this next video, fathers, more of the same. It's interesting because this video is with all adult women. A few of them have children. A couple of them don't. But it's talking about young ladies posing on Instagram or TikTok, and those type of things. What it looks like through their lens. And as fathers, what is it going to look like through your lens? Would you allow this to happen? I didn't allow my daughters to participate in any beauty pageants or baby pageants because I didn't want my daughters to rely on their beauty for their self-esteem. So I taught my daughters how to love themselves on the inside out, not outside in. And I just did not allow any beauty pageants. Like I said, for me, as a man, beauty pageants to me is really, I think they're detrimental for women. And, I think they're detrimental for little girls. So that's just my opinion. And like I said, I just didn't allow my daughters to participate in any beauty pageants or any pageants at all. And trust me, I got approached all the time about my girls being models or, being a part of modeling agencies. And I didn't allow that to happen. So, every family is going to be different. Fathers are going to be different. But, you just got to understand, Dad, you got to remember, we're men. And you have to remember, we were once little boys. So sex sells, and we know sex sells. So we really got to be mindful of what we expose our daughters to. Okay. All right. Let me get this next video set up, fathers. It's called The Impact of Social Media on Teens and Tweens, TWEENS. So let's see. Okay. I'm really learning all of this this technology when it comes to live streaming. It's quite a process. It is really quite a process. So I'm learning
Media
it,
has
and
opened up
it's
a
good and it's fun. So I'm getting better at it. You know, the more live streams that I do, the better I'm becoming. So just bear with me, fathers. Okay, this next video, let me set it up. See what we got. Okay. Is that the one I want? Yes. Okay, fathers, here is the next video. And
has opened up a world
okay,
of
here we go.
opportunity, but that can also be a really confusing place, especially for young people. The goal at times for them, even some adults, appears to be who can get more likes or who has more followers, and that can lead into all kinds of problems. Is there a healthy balance, though? And if so, what is that healthy balance when it comes to teenagers' desire to become a social media star? That is a question that has gone viral right now, in part because of Piper Raquel. She has 4.8 million Instagram followers. She has 8.3 million subscribers on YouTube. She posts pictures of herself in crop tops and bikinis. By the way, she's only 14. Her Instagram account says that it is an account managed by family, and that's where the controversy comes in. Singer Pink is suggesting Piper's family is exploiting her for Instagram likes. She went on to tweet about this. She said, how many kids like Piper Raquel are being exploited by their parents? And at what point do the rest of us say, this isn't okay for a, say, 14-year-old to be posing in a bikini whilst her mother takes the photo? By the way, Piper's mother says she's just trying to support her daughter's dream. She says, quote, as Piper wants to do this and it's her passion, I'm here for her to follow that dream and protect her. Obviously, there is a lot to unpack here. What is okay and what is not okay to post when it comes to teens and tweens on social media? And are they prepared to deal with the kind of negative attention or feedback they may get? Well, kids are different, experts say. Keep that in mind. And it's kind of hard to put an exact age on when it is okay for young people to use social media. But they do say parents should use extreme caution. All right, there was a lot there. So we've got our panel, and I know we're going to start, I guess, with Amanda, but I heard Brooke is super passionate, so watch out, everybody. I'm just warning you right now. Amanda, what do you think?
Well, okay, first of all, I'm so grateful that I didn't have social media at that age. I can't even imagine the kind of peer pressure these teenagers, especially teenage girls, are facing right now. Secondly, I completely agree with Pink. I think it's absolutely inappropriate to be posting those kind of photos of a 14-year-old girl with a bikini on. Who are these people following her? It should be a private account, in my humble opinion. And so you can support your child's dreams and not sexualize your child. I'm sorry. That's what I have to say.
Okay. Maria, you want to go next?
You know, I love you, Amanda, but I'm going to disagree on this case because Piper is a totally different kind of entity. This conversation, I agree with everything you said about normal teens and tweens. As parents, I think we should definitely be watching what our teens and our kids are doing on social media. But Piper is a business with millions of followers on YouTube, Instagram. They definitely are making money. She is definitely, she's profiting from this. So she's in a different category, not much different from athletes, singers, performers, and actors. So she's a little bit different. So I think there's going to be two different kinds of conversations going on here. So when you're talking about just regular teens, I agree 100%. But with Piper, she's a business. She wants to do this for a living, and I think she has every right to do what she wants to do.
But what if, hold on a second, what if you're a teen looking up to Piper and thinking, I want to be like Piper?
Again, parents need to monitor their kids, and if that's who you're following as a teen, as a child, then you need to talk to your children about the real role models that you should have, and talk about what's real on social media and what's not. So she's definitely putting on a show. She's creating a program, content for her social media channel so she can make money.
Okay, so Sandra has a daughter, so I'm curious to know, maybe your opinion is different.
Well, my goal as a parent, obviously my daughter is still young, 6 years old. I hope she stays off social media for as long as possible. Obviously, it's not possible. At some point, she is going to jump on, but the judging and the whole comparison, it's a troubling kind of entity for everyone. But look, we live in a time where Kim Kardashian became famous off a sex tape. Her whole family capitalized off of that. There are millions of people who emulate that or want to be like that family. And I, as a parent, cannot judge another family, a young person, for doing what they're doing on social media. I can only control what I can in my very small sphere. Also, that means, like Maria was saying, to not have my daughter look at accounts like that. If Piper wants to do that, fine. If her parents support that, fine. Other people are going to have problems with other kids in their dance costumes, in the way they model, perhaps, or go into kids' pageants. And so every parent can judge or not, but clearly it is up to you as a parent to really regulate what your child is looking at, what you're supporting, and what you're modeling for your own child. So again, I mean, I'm not here to judge them, what they're doing, whether or not it's exploiting Piper, but clearly there are so many dynamics when it comes to social media, and we're all trying to navigate this together.
Okay, Brooke, you don't yet have kids, but I'm curious to know what you think, because you said you had a lot to say.
Well, I think that we have to change as a society how we talk about things like this. So much of, I think, how we treat little girls is based on old, antiquated rules that are frankly a little misogynistic. Instead of teaching adult men and their little friends, their little boy counterparts, hey, this is how you should treat your classmates, for men, these are baby legs, baby bodies, baby skin. We teach girls that they need to cover up, that it's on them. Clothes aren't inherently sexual. It's the actions. It's how you view them. I see a 13-year-old in a 13-year-old skin and body, and that's that. She's wearing a swimsuit. Go get in the pool. Take a picture. She's a baby. It's on everybody around her. And I find it, I don't know, kind of ironic that Pink is publicly calling out a child while also saying that she's trying to protect her. That's kind of embarrassing, right? Like, how do you think that made her feel?
She's calling out the parents.
But she also
calling out
said
the
a
parents.
13-year-old in a bikini. That, you know.
It's the posing. It's not like a pool party for kids. I think I do agree with Pink. It made me uncomfortable looking at those photos. I
just think it's
I know
part
my
of a
parents would never
larger
go for that
conversation. Like, my body developed quicker than some of the other girls around me, and there's so much shame. And I just think, like, long term, we should just be teaching kids to love their bodies and teaching adults and their guy friends to behave.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying in that sense, but I think when you bring up that picture of her in the pool, it's not her just casually having a little swim party with her friends.
Right.
The posing is very intentional. It's very sexualized.
There's no.
It is.
That you don't see this picture as a
She's wearing the swimsuit
on the posing.
You don't see that as really?
I just look at it and I think that it's a kid. I
swimsuit.
think she's a kid.
I need to jump in here. The posing is from all the influences of surrounding media. She is watching shows probably like the Kardashians, or looking at other media, listening to music that's misogynistic or profanity laced. That is just inherent in teenage culture. And so there's so much media surrounding this girl. And why do you think she's posing like that? Look at just advertisement for clothing itself. Yes, absolutely. She is modeling what she sees, her environment. I can't blame her for learning those poses. That's what you see everywhere, even for little girls.
Even if she wasn't trying to be sexual, I think by just being surrounded by those types of images, maybe she, without thinking, is now posing that way. Listen, I will tell you this.
Guys, this is a business. She's making money off of it.
And part of it is because I think there's so many conversations happening. It's about her as a business, but we're also kind of elaborating and taking this further and talking about parents and other children and what your responsibilities are on social media. I will tell you personally, my daughters love to dance, and I would put YouTube videos on for them, and it was Shakira or J-Lo or whatever. And then I started to notice they were starting to copy their dance moves, very sexual dance moves. And I was like, whoa, I do not like this. So I started to let them listen to the music, but I turned off visually what they can see, because without thinking about it, they're just repeating what they see. And I do not want my 5-year-old shaking anything like Shakira or J-Lo.
Yes. Right. Yeah, agreed. There's an age limit for for the Shakira and J-Lo dance move.
Maria, do you want to say anything else?
I just, I think a big part of it has to do with how her body is shaped as well. I think that if she were much slimmer and wasn't as curvy, even for a little girl, I do think the conversation is different. I think that that's just how society works. I do think that's part of it. I don't know. I want us to be nicer to little girls overall.
Well, I think we want to keep her as safe. We're not being, I think it's just, you don't know who those 5 million people are, and I think you just want to keep her safe and protected.
Yeah, but that's the parent's role. So the bottom line,
Absolutely,
the parent's role. As parents, we have control over our children and what they see and what they will become when they're adults, hopefully.
Agreed.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's a great way to end this because this can go on and on, I see.
Jen.
Okay, so fathers, what are your thoughts on that video? What do you think? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? I just wish there could have been a panel of fathers, because I know our response would be totally different. And the discussion would have went a whole different way, because mothers and fathers are different. We just are, and I just think these videos are very, very insightful, and they're going to make fathers of daughters uncomfortable, and they should. And we have to have these discussions, fathers. There's just no way around it. We have to have these discussions with our daughters, regardless of how uncomfortable they are. I had them with my girls. I started talking to my girls at about the age of 5. And, that's because I worked in the criminal justice system. So I saw a lot of stuff. And I just refused to have my daughters get exploited and be exposed, and it's hard. It's very, very difficult, because our daughters are going to have cell phones, and the way smartphones are set up today is everything is done through an app, which is very, very difficult to monitor. It just is. So we're gonna be doing a lot, fathers, and it's going to take a lot for us to transition with them. But we can't be scared, and we cannot ignore what's coming. We cannot, because if we ignore what's coming, we're going to be left behind, and we're going to find out a bunch of stuff that we're not prepared to deal with. And that's what will happen. So I have a few more videos that I want to share. This next video I want to share is it's talking about applications or apps that are on our daughters' phones. And one of the biggest things when I was a probation officer, and what I learned being in the criminal justice system, is pedophiles, predators, they're always waiting for our daughters' fathers. And pedophiles and predators are not creepy old men that are in their 50s and 60s. Pedophiles and predators are 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-old little boys. They are. I saw a lot of jacked up stuff when I was in the, a probation officer when I was in the criminal justice system. I saw a lot of jacked up stuff. I saw a lot of bad things happen to girls. And I feel very blessed and I'm very grateful for my experiences of working in the criminal justice system for 20 years, because I had to look at reality through a totally different lens. And my experience was totally different raising my daughters. So this is why I do what I do, because I know what's coming. And if we are not a part of our daughters' lives and the decision making, bad things will happen to them. I can promise you that. A lot of bad things will happen to them. So this next video it's another good video. So it's only a couple minutes, but it's talking about secret apps teens use. And I wanted to include it because it is you know, you're always going to have people out there who are trying to hurt our daughters and take advantage of our daughters. You're always going to have that. So, like I said, we just have to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to provide protection and safety for our daughters always. And just making sure we're on the forefront of technology is really gonna help us and become better fathers. The more technology that we know and the more understandings that we know, the better off we're going to be fathers. Okay, I believe.
Out there, like.
So let me get this set up. Okay, dads, here's another video. I like this one. I think this is a good video as well. Let's see. Okay.
Somewhere in the depths of your child's phone, there could be a lot more than meets the eye.
Have you heard of any of these apps right here?
I have not.
Do any of these apps look familiar to you?
No, none of them actually.
But teens, you don't have to ask twice.
So have you heard of this one here? Kick? Yeah.
Yes.
Do any of these apps sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
Apps lurking behind the curtains, allowing children to have secret conversations with strangers, send private photos, and more.
One of the most popular is the calculator app lock. You can see at first glance it appears to be a harmless calculator, but when you type in a selected passcode, this is what shows up: a hidden vault of photos, videos, and notes. It even allows you to search the internet in a private browser.
I have friends that actually use that app before. Yeah.
Why do they use it?
To hide stuff from their parents.
They know it's bad, but they'll do it anyways.
And there are a lot out there, like Kik, which allows private messaging with anonymous people, and dating apps specifically for teens, like Yubo, previously called Yellow, which is location-based, plus Hot or Not and Wishbone, where you can rate strangers. On others, like Whisper, users can share secrets and post rumors.
These apps show that teens are quite savvy with the spectrum of options that they have out there.
But to see apps like that and they're easy accessible, it's kind of scary a bit.
We FaceTimed with Andrew Lee of the Digimentors team. He recommends activating the Ask to Buy setting in the App Store, which only allows an app download if it's approved by a parent.
Read the ratings in the App Store and any kind of warnings out there.
I'm going to start looking into it a little bit more now.
Another one to keep a closer eye on is Instagram, because one user can make multiple accounts, making activity difficult to track. Rena Roy, CBS 2 News.
Well, some apps are also accessible on desktops and iPads, so it's also important to keep an eye on those as well.
Somewhere.
Okay, fathers. So, once again, this is on us. It's challenging. Technology, our kids are always going to be able to communicate. One of the things I learned when I was a dean of students working in K-12 education, middle school and high school daughters, baby girls, they're going to communicate. They will find a way to communicate, and they're always going to know more than their parents. They just are. I mean, you heard in that video how some of these apps, they shield parents away from knowing exactly what their kids are doing, and it's a perfect situation for pedophiles and predators to communicate with our daughters. It is. So, we just it's going to be a challenge. It really, really is going to be a challenge. And like I said, Gen Alpha girls right today, they're 14. The oldest ones are 14 years of age. Gen Z girls are 16, 17, 18, 19. The older ones, the older Gen Z. So we really, really got our work cut out for us. And we're going to have to stay on top of it all the time. Because if we don't stay on top of our daughters and we don't know what's going on with them, things can happen and things will happen to them. So we just have to make sure that we're doing everything we can do as far as research, looking at studies and making sure that we have all the information that we have in front of us to make an informed decision regarding the protection and safety of our daughters. And like I said, it's always good to do due diligence. The internet is free. YouTube is free. All the videos that I'm sharing are for informational purposes. They're available on YouTube. These videos that I'm sharing today are also in the description of my live stream. So they're there. But fathers, definitely do your own research. Please do your own research. That's the only way you're going to get better. That's the only way you're going to be able to stay on the front end of technology. Okay. The next few videos that I have, they're about 2 minutes each. And they are made by Medium Victim Law Center. And the reason I'm including these videos is because I believe that as parents, we need to have access to as many resources as we possibly can to help us fight the predators and the pedophiles that are waiting for our daughters, and just the whole exploitation that could happen with our daughters if we're not connected. So I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. Whatever information I come across that I can share with fathers, I'm definitely going to share it with you. Trust me, I'm going to share it with you. This is what I do. This is what I've done professionally. And I've always been on the front end and done my best to know what's going on. When I worked in the criminal justice system, I had to look, like I said, I had to look at everything through a totally different lens, y'all. I just did. And I had to raise my daughters totally different. So I have a different awareness, and I will share everything that I'm aware of with fathers, because it's important for me to help fathers understand our sense of urgency and why fathers are important in their daughters' lives. Okay. So let me get this next one set up. This one is called "How is Social Media Putting Kids in Danger?" And this is from the Media Victims Law Center. These next 3 videos are about 2 minutes apiece. So let me get this ready. Let me pull it up here. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay, let's see, fathers, I'm almost there. Let's see which one. I want that one. Yes. Okay. Okay, fathers, here we go.
Social media apps like Snapchat are endangered children from human trafficking based on their design. It is not an accident that the ephemeral disappearing messages of Snapchat are the target of choice by pedophiles. Children are groomed from one platform and then use Snapchat for purposes of exchanging explicit images of themselves. Pimps use Snapchat to exchange imagery of underage children who are subjected to sexual trafficking. It is the nature of the product that it is just it's the best friend of a pedophile. It is so easy for children to be objectified, and it is so easy for their images and to be bought and sold on Snapchat. And again, this is not an accident. This is what Snapchat promotes itself as doing. It actively promotes itself to teens, to drug dealers, and to pedophiles as the safe, quote unquote, safe way to engage in illegal activity and abusive activity without any record of what you're doing and without any accountability to law enforcement or to parents or to the people that you're hurting.
Okay. So, like I said, fathers,
Social media apps like
I would definitely make sure that I am sharing all the information that I possibly can with fathers, because I want to make sure that our daughters are protected and safe. And I will do my due diligence to help all fathers, because there's just so much information out there, fathers, and it could really just become overwhelming and make a lot of fathers just want to give up and quit and feel defeated a lot of times. But we gotta hang in there for our daughters, and we got to keep our heads up, and we got to grind. We really have to grind, and we gotta look at this thing and attack it face to face. Okay, that's what we have to do, fathers, because our daughters are going to be exposed to it. So we just have to make sure we have things in place that are going to help us become better fathers, and have a better understanding of exactly what the world is providing for our girls. Okay. Let me get this next video ready. This one is talking about TikTok, how TikTok is responsible. What has happened to its users is this next video. Let's see. Okay. Let me get this ready here. Okay, fathers, here is the next video.
TikTok is responsible for the harms that its users suffer because those harms are neither accidental nor coincidental. Rather, they are the direct and proximate and foreseeable result of the design decision that TikTok made to maximize user engagement over user safety. Time and time again, TikTok has had the opportunity to take the safe choice or the profitable choice. And every time they have chosen the profitable choice. And as a result, our children are suffering injury, degradation, and in some cases, death. This didn't have to happen. It doesn't have to happen. And if TikTok exercised the basic care that any other manufacturer, any other business, any other citizen would have to exercise, the carnage that we're experiencing and the carnage that we're seeing among our children would not be in effect.
Okay. So, fathers of daughters, I have a question for you. Who do you think is ultimately responsible for the exposure? Do you think it's the social media platforms, or do you think it's parents needing to be diligent with their children? What are your thoughts on that? Comment and let me know what you're thinking. Okay. So I have one more video. And this next one is talking about Media Victims Law Center. What are the social media platforms that they've sued on behalf of families? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So let me get this. Let's see. Okay.
We have filed a significant number of cases against TikTok because their platforms are horrifically dangerous to unknowing children and their parents. And one of the most compelling cases we have filed involves 3 young children, an 8-year-old girl, a 9-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old boy, who strangled themselves to death while taking the TikTok Blackout Challenge. Unbeknownst to their parents, they were directed by TikTok's algorithms to the Blackout Challenge, which encouraged them to choke themselves. And ultimately, they were not able to revive themselves. And this has continued until this continues to the present day. And it is neither an accident nor a coincidence, but a direct result of TikTok's design decisions to create algorithms that enhance challenges and user engagement over safety. And we continue to see cases involving children through TikTok committing harmful acts of themselves, either injuring themselves or in some cases killing themselves, either deliberately or by accident. We have other cases against TikTok involving eating disorders. One case involves a 12-year-old girl who was interested in exercise. So she got on TikTok and in her For Me page was repeatedly received imagery promoting anorexia, and over a very short period of time developed an eating disorder that led to an extensive hospitalization and permanent damage to her reproductive functions. This is a direct, again, not an accident, not a coincidence, but a direct result of the decision that TikTok made to design a product
Okay. Not sure what
that kept kids online, kept kids engaged, no matter what they were looking at, whether it was dangerous or whether it was safe, whether it was harmful, whether it was hurtful, whether it made children feel better about themselves or feel worse.
Okay,
Social media
fathers.
challenges,
So
or
those are the
so-called
last
TikTok
of
challenges.
the videos. And let's see. Yeah. That's it, fathers, for today's live stream. I appreciate you, and hopefully I was able to bring something today on this live stream that could help you as a father of daughters. And I appreciate you tuning in. And I would like to hear your comments, though. I would like for you to share your comments and, what your thoughts are. Because we have a lot before us, fathers. And it's going to be challenging. It's really, really going to be challenging. So with that being said, fathers, this is another live stream. This is Ephraim B. Martin. I will be back next week for another live stream. I'm live streaming once a week. And as we continue to build capacity through @Grow That YouTube channel, I'm excited about it, fathers. So all fathers are welcome. Share my videos, share my live streams, subscribe, like, and share. Okay? All right, fathers. Until next week, I'm out. Peace.